Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Season 6, Episode 55, Episode 330 overall of Live with CDP Sports Talk, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210. or email them at info@barrycullen.com. As always, Live with CDP Sports Talk is on weeknights from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern on radio station WQEE 99.1 FM in Metro Atlanta, the home of Southern Talk in sports. Good afternoon, everybody, on this Friday, November 3rd, 2023, and it's a pretty exciting weekend going on here in Ontario with the Canadian Football League playoffs, and my guest coming on tonight is his second appearance on Live with CDP Sports Talk, and he is a friend of mine, and he is one of the best sideline reporters that the CFL has, Matthew Scianitti from the CFL on TSN.
Hey, Chris.
Good afternoon. Good. How are you doing?
Not too bad, my friend. Not too bad. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you so much for coming on here. Matthew, we'll get to some questions, but first I want to get quick thoughts on Ottawa letting Kahari Jones go as their offensive coordinator today.
I think with Bob Dice coming back, Sean Burke coming back, that's both the head coach and the general manager. Certainly discussions are being had about Jeremiah Masoli and his role, to say nothing of Dustin Crum. We're at a point now, though, where someone at some point was likely going to be the person holding the bag at the end of the night, and that happened to be Kahari Jones. It's unfortunate because I think across the league, Kahari Jones has such a great reputation, and you never like to see anybody lose their job in a community like the CFL. But and it certainly wasn't on Kahari Jones for the number of quarterback injuries they had. When you think about where the Red Blacks thought they were and where they ended up, I don't think they thought they would end up with Dustin Crum putting his body on the line, facing the kind of sack pressure that he did all season. But still, they're looking for something new in Ottawa because next year will be year 3 under Sean Burke, the general manager, and winning. Trying to get back to what the Ottawa Red Blacks were when you think about 2015, 16, 17, 18, and the 3 Grey Cup appearances in that time, and the one Grey Cup win, and how far they've fallen in that time. Yeah, they desperately want to start winning, and making a change at an offensive coordinator seemed like the change they wanted to make. So it's unfortunate that Kahari Jones goes, but that change now, that's a very significant job heading into the offseason.
Absolutely. Matthew, also, I wanted to ask you about this as well. What are your thoughts on the games being moved to Saturdays for the semifinals and then the East Final and West Finals?
I think it's going to feel a little different. It's nothing more, I think, in my mind than just a schedule change, Chris, because ultimately we're all still pointed towards Saturday. See, I've got Saturday. I got the Saturday semifinal and final in my head when really we're all pointing to Grey Cup Sunday, and that's never going to change. But now we're 2 weeks away from that, and that's where it really gets super exciting. And sure, people can discuss that it moves the CFL out of the direction of of Sunday football. Whether it's ratings or what have you, that they want to go ahead and get people watching on a Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. But to me, that core group of fans, that those hundreds of thousands of people who watch the CFL every week, Saturday or Sunday is not going to be a big deal for them. They're going to want to settle in for what I think is going to be a really, really exciting playoff bracket on both sides, East and West this year.
Any chance the Grey Cup could ever be moved to a Saturday night, or you think they're going to keep it 6 o'clock Sunday?
That would be people might, I don't know the entire history of the date and the time of when the Grey Cup has been played over its 111 or more than that,
109.
some of the years that it was paused. But you're talking about over a century of games. Many of them have been on a Sunday in November. It is a tradition unlike anything else we have in our country, and I don't think that's going to be changing anytime soon.
Okay. And I was reading from Third Down Nation today off Dresden Donk. The CFL regular season TV ratings increased 11% in 2023 on TSN, and that is great news.
Yeah, it's this is an opportunity to thank the dozens and dozens of people who many football fans in this country will never see. Talking about guys like John Hines, Andy Boyokas, Don Landis, Franklin Rubenstein, Chris Edwards, Thomas Ludwig, John Perlberg, John Russin. And there's multitudes and multitudes of people who sacrifice their time every summer, sacrifice 6 months of their lives, and flying and trekking across this country to put on the best football broadcast, not only in the CFL, but there are some games where I have no problem arguing with anybody until I'm blue in the face. The NFL might have more toys for cameras and graphics, but when it comes to quality of broadcasts, when we're on our best day, we rival anything that happens in football and professional football. Doesn't matter where it is. So I look at those ratings as a real indication of the work ethic of the many dozens of people who work on the CFL and TSN, and I'm so proud to be among them.
You are currently in Montreal right now, so you're going to be covering the Alouettes Tiger Cat game tomorrow at 3 p.m. What time do you and the crew get to the stadium to get prepared for the 3 o'clock kickoff?
I probably will. The crew is there. We'll be there probably tomorrow at about 8 a.m. I don't have to be there at 8 a.m. Thankfully, I will likely start walking up to the campus at McGill probably around 11:30 noon, so that I have an opportunity to walk around, and it's different. Playoff football is different. Playoffs in professional sports is different. It is, whether it's the time of year because it's November, whether it's the city as in Montreal and the amazing fans they have here, not just Alouettes fans and sports fans in general. There's so much to really get excited about, and I'll get there probably just around noon, 12:30, and I'll be settling in for 5-6 hours of relentless energy. I always look forward to this time of year.
Absolutely, and I'm going to ask you this, Michael, or not Michael, Matthew. Sorry, I had a Michael on my mind. But how do you see the Eastern semifinal going between Hamilton, who is 8-10, and Montreal 11-7 on Saturday at 3 p.m.? And thoughts on the Tiger Cats going with a 2-quarterback system in this game?
Well, it is interesting. For the first time in his storied career, Bo Levi Mitchell is not only playing on a team where the team is an underdog in the Ticats, but he's not going to be the starting quarterback. And I think we're going to find a story that's going to unfold in a real interesting and huge way here. And by that I mean Matthew Schultz is going to start. It'll be under the purview of Orlando Steinauer and his decision making as to whether, if at all, Bo Levi Mitchell comes in. But my eyes will be trained on that Ticat sideline all game, not only for what the body languages of Orlando Steinauer as the game rolls on and things happen, but I will be looking at Bo Levi Mitchell. This is a huge story. Knowing that he came to Hamilton this year with all the swagger that Bo Levi Mitchell has had in winning 2 Grey Cups, 2 Grey Cup MVPs, and 2 most outstanding players in our league, he is a Hall of Famer, undeniably, undoubtedly. But he came to Hamilton on a 3-year deal to win. And the injuries, both the lower body injury with a groin injury and fractured leg that he had a procedure done on, were not his fault nor anyone's fault in Hamilton. Although people can certainly debate the nature of him getting his leg fracturing in Ottawa in July, but the truth of the matter is Bo Levi Mitchell has played just 6 games, and in the games that he has played since returning, in all of those games, he has played no more than 2 quarters. I can understand why Orlando Steinauer has gone with Matthew Schultz, and when speaking to the media today, he said everything is going to be kept internal. Whether or not that plays out in the way that he wants, we'll see. But ultimately, this has turned into what Hamilton thought that in getting Bo Levi Mitchell and having a team to challenge the Argos in the East, they now have to take a long road to get back to Hamilton. They would have to beat an Alouettes team that has Cody Fajardo, William Stanback, Austin Mack, Will Snead, and then defensively has a defensive line that is now anchored by Sean Lemon and Armando Sewell, Tyrese Beverette, Marc-Antoine Ducroix. Like this is going to be a great game. But it's as I was just talking to Tim White about this. It comes down to the details now and fingertips on every single play. So, how do I think it's going to go? I have spent, Chris, over a decade covering this league for TSN. That I try my best to stay away from making predictions because I'm the one who has to stand between both teams every week, especially in the playoffs. So I will go ahead and I will not avoid, but I will simply pass that off, and I will say this: whichever of these teams wins, it will be a very exciting and interesting East Final because the Toronto Argonauts and Chad Kelly have done something that only one of the team has done: go 16-2 in the CFL, and they are ready. But these two teams here, I think it's going to be a battle tomorrow, and whatever team comes out, they are certainly going to be battle tested, but also incredibly confident going into the East Final in Toronto on November 11th.
As for my prediction, I'm going to just say it's going to be a 3-point game, and it's going to go to overtime. And I just think whoever comes out of this game is going to give the Toronto Argonauts all they can handle in the East Finals because you know this, Matthew. The regular season is one thing, but the playoffs are a different story in the Canadian Football League.
100%. And I have a lot of I have a lot of excitement looking ahead to that East Final. If nothing else, beyond what I just said, I think you could get a sellout either way at BMO Field, and over 30,000 people for an East Final is going back to your point about the ratings will be another tremendous feather in the cap of the league this season.
Absolutely. Matthew, do you have time for one more question? I just wanted to ask you about the West semifinals.
Sure, go ahead, Chris.
Just your thoughts on the West semifinal between Calgary, who had a tough season, and against the BC Lions, who had a tremendous year under Vernon Adams Jr. That game is going to be 6:30 on 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 on the Pacific time. Who's going to be the sideline reporter for that game for BC Calgary?
That'll be my good friend Claire Hanna. Claire Hanna will be on the sidelines for that game alongside Farhan Lalji, who will be doing some insider hits from BC Place. And it'll be Dustin Nielsen and Glenn Sitter on the call, and it'll be Rod Smith and Dwayne Ford here in Percival Molson Stadium, just above me in the media booth. But looking at that matchup, what else can I say beyond Calgary gave all they could and won a few weeks ago, 41-16. They have to do that again because BC is certainly smarting. After the last few weeks, they lost the opportunity to host the West Final against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and now they went in to this West semi having lost already to Calgary at home. Rick Campbell, who is a master motivator in the subtlest way. He is not a rah-rah, bang his fist on the table kind of guy. He's a stare you in the eye connect with you, mano a mano kind of guy. And I have no doubt that he, Ryan Phillips, Jordan McStimmick, John Bowman, that entire coaching staff have done everything they can to really inspire the BC Lions. But the Calgary Stampeders are coming with their own chip on their shoulder too. If you've seen Cam Judge on social media recently, he has called into question some of the voting for All-Star, and said, called out the voting process because he felt that he had a season where he was worthy of being an All-Star. The Calgary Stampeders come into this playoff 6-11. They come into this playoff being, of all the teams in the playoffs, and maybe some could argue the Ticats have been inconsistent, but the Stampeders have been the most inconsistent. As raised, he can throw one of the prettiest balls in the Canadian Football League, but he has someone who has been inconsistent himself. And really, when you think about it, if not for Reggie Begelton and Rennie Paredes, can certainly give a lot of props to Cam Judge and Micah Awe in the linebacking core. But this is a team that's going to have to replicate their best performance again against the BC Lions team that will be ready. It is not going to be easy, and the reward for those two teams beating up on each other, especially Calgary, if Calgary wins, is then to go to Winnipeg to face the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The East is exciting, and I think there's going to be a lot of great storylines. We're already seeing one of show itself in the Ticats quarterback situation. I really think the west side of the bracket is a gauntlet. It is going to be to beat Winnipeg to get to Hamilton is a big task for either BC or Calgary, but they got to get through each other first. So I'm interested to see how that plays out tomorrow night.
Just quickly, I remember the '89 Edmonton Eskimos, 16-2, and they were talking about being the greatest CFL team of all time. And they ran into an underdog Saskatchewan Roughriders team in the West Finals, and they lost. And Saskatchewan ended up winning the Grey Cup that year. So you know what? Anything can happen.
Yeah, you know what? I'm sure Glenn Suter, who was on that '89 Saskatchewan Roughriders team that won their second Grey Cup, he. Our friend 2-7, who will be, as I said, calling the game BC Place, he of anybody will tell you that records do not matter when it comes to playoff time, and all of that matters. The only thing that matters is executing on the day when your number is called. When you look at the East Semi, Matthew Schilt's number has been called, and we haven't talked about Cody Fajardo just yet, but Cody Fajardo, he talked about having a second chance now after the disappointment that he felt he ended his career in Saskatchewan with. Well, a lot of eyes will be on him tomorrow and on Matthew Schiltz. And even though, yes, the Toronto Argonauts finished 16-2, and Chad Kelly has had a great season, and basically the entire Argos team was named East All-Stars, when you really think about their starting lineup, the truth is you can only... when that whistle blows, it's all up to you. So we will see how it all plays out. I'm really excited for these playoffs.
Absolutely, and I think turnovers is going to be a big factor in both of these games and special teams. I'm going to let you go, Matthew, but just quickly, I'm just going to ask you one quick question. We'll let you go. Most outstanding player, it's going to be Chad Kelly against Brady O'Reilly from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Who do you see being the MOP this year?
Again, you're asking me to make a prediction.
Two great players, yeah.
Between two great players, I will say this. They are both deserving of that award. Chad Kelly has come in having played more football this season than he's ever played ever, with all the expectations that he's had on him as the starting quarterback of the Toronto Argonauts, the way he pushes the ball downfield, the way that he plays the game, how he's matured, given everything that, and I just spent the whole day with Chad Kelly on Wednesday for a CFL and TSN feature that our great features department is producing. And you can see a guy who has fallen in love with the game in I was about to say this city, I'm in Montreal, but in Toronto. Brady Oliveira, though, is doing something that, when you really think about it, only in the modern CFL, only two other guys have done. That would be Andrew Harris and John Cornish. Andrew Harris, who Brady Oliveira was behind when they won a couple of Grey Cups in Winnipeg, and John Cornish. But the interesting thing is this: when you think about the history of the CFL, you think about the Most Outstanding Player Award. There have only been two players, only two Canadians that have won that award in the last 50 years. One of them is John Cornish. The other was Tony Gabriel. So for Brady Oliveira to win that award would not only be not only a significant thing for him as a running back, but he oftentimes talks about, well, my passport doesn't matter. No. In this case, if you were to win the MOP, absolutely it matters. So either way, whomever wins, it's a tremendous story.
Absolutely. And hey, Matthew, I want to say thank you so much. I owe you Timmy's for keeping you 5 minutes over, but where can my audience follow you on social media as well?
No, you don't owe me anything, my friend. It's always my pleasure. You can follow me on Twitter at TSN Scianitti and on Instagram at TSN Scianitti.
All right. Well, hey, I was going to say, I hope you have a great evening, get some sleep, and I'm really looking forward to both of these games tomorrow. And this is a great time of the year for sports, especially the Canadian Football League. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on Saturday, November 11th at BMO Field. But I'll be a fan in the stands so I can have a beer and hopefully cheer on another great game as well.
Absolutely. We'll see you then, Chris.
Thanks so much, Matthew. Talk to you later.
Take care.
All right, guys, that was Matthew Scianitti from TSN. He's a TSN reporter and also the CFL on TSN sideline reporter. And Matthew Scianitti will be covering the Montreal Alouettes Hamilton Tiger Cat game tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. on TSN. And the winner goes to the East Final at BMO Field on Saturday, November 11th at 3 p.m. against the 16-2 Toronto Argonauts. Montreal Hamilton, again, 3 o'clock semifinal tomorrow, TSN. This is the third year in a row the Alouettes and the Tiger Cats have met in the East semifinals. Montreal this year was 3-0 against Hamilton in the regular season, a 38-12 win, a 27-14 win, and a 22-20 win as well. And Matthew Schultz will be starting for the Tiger Cats, but Bo Levi Mitchell, who they signed to a big contract and is a two-time Grey Cup champion and MVP, will be the number 2 quarterback, but possibly could come in this series as well. I think it's going to be a 3-point game. I think it'll be a 3-point game. I have Montreal winning this game 23-20 Montreal in overtime, 23-20 in overtime. And I do think there's a turnover and maybe a special teams return might be the difference in this game as well. As for Calgary, BC, the West semifinal, that game is at 6:30, again on TSN. And I got to go with the BC Lions. I think BC is probably one of the top 3 teams in the CFL this year. Calgary struggled at 6-12, and based on paper and talent, BC being at home should win this game. So I'm going to go with BC 31, Calgary 14. I think that game will be a little bit more of a blowout, 31-14 BC over Calgary. And again, Montreal 23-20 over Hamilton. And please watch the games on TSN, tsn.ca online, or you can check out the Canadian Football League's website at cfl.ca. And again, semifinal in the East, Hamilton, Montreal 3, and then Calgary, BC, the West semifinal at 6 o'clock. Then the Eastern final and the Western final are both on Saturday, November 11th, 3 p.m. for the East in Toronto and 6:30 for the West final in Winnipeg. And the Grey Cup, the 110th Grey Cup championship for the Canadian Football League, will be on Sunday, November 19th at 6 p.m. at Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton, Ontario. And I put in for a media pass request, and I'm hoping to be able to cover that game as a member of the media. So fingers crossed. And regardless which 2 teams get into the Grey Cup, it'll be a hell of a game and a fun time in Hamilton, which is hosting their second Grey Cup in 3 years after going, I believe, 25, 26 years without hosting a game there as well. The last time they hosted the Grey Cup in Hamilton was 2021 when we were coming off the pandemic, and it wasn't the same as it is now. By the way, guys, I'm going to show a little bit of an interview I did last Friday night at Crossbody Pro Wrestling in Cambridge, Ontario, with a wrestler named Brother Earth. Brother Earth, thoughts on your match tonight and your victory over your opponents?
Tonight, I mean, Robbie Cosmos and Ahmed, they're some tough guys. But at the end of the day, Brother Earth doesn't give up. Brother Earth has the support of gardens everywhere behind him. And if you go watch Crossbody Pro Wrestling up or back, you'll see I gave him a little thank you after the match. Just gave him a little peppers, stuff I grow from my garden. I like to give it away,
We're going to ask you, Brother Earth, how did you get into wrestling and who were some of your influences?
I think when I got into wrestling, my friend was a fan of wrestling before I was, and he taught me all the moves before I had even watched wrestling. And then he kind of showed me some of the wrestling, and then I started watching it. And then I think it was Kane and Rey Mysterio. First two I saw, fell in love immediately. And then Chris Jericho, he was the one that sealed the deal for me. I loved how he talked on the mic. He was fantastic.
Do you remember your first match and your first win?
My first match was here at Crossbody about 5 years ago. Who was I wrestling? I don't even remember who I was wrestling. I think I won that match, though. And I think I used the same move that I use now, Lion Salt, to finish. I like tying it back to the earth. Lions. It's nice. I think I used the same move then as I use now. Yeah.
What do you love the most about wrestling, and what are some of the hardest aspects of the wrestling industry?
The thing I love the most is that you as you watch wrestling, you think, oh, I like that character. Brother Earth, I like that. Brother Earth's the character Brother Earth isn't a character. The name isn't my real name, but that's pretty much as far off from it as I am. I am some dude who likes walking around with some carrots, and I like growing my own vegetables. I live in an RV, and I drive around, and that's my life. The wrestling to me is just fantastic because it brings the real side of people out, and they can really express who they truly are. If you're a good or bad person, you can just express it.
Brother Earth, what do you prefer, being a heel or a baby face?
Honestly, it depends on the day. Some days I'm in a bad mood and I'd prefer to just screw you all, and then other days I'd like to be a good guy. I like to let's go. At the end of the day, I think being a good guy is fun. It's just a lot of fun. I like doing, it's nice to hear the roar of a crowd behind you in a positive manner.
Where did you come up with your finishing maneuver? And who are some current AEW and WWE superstars that you kind of like to watch? And if there was a walk-up music you could use here, what would you use?
The walk-up music song I'm using now fits perfect. I love it so much. I got it custom made. It fits everything I need. Guys in WWE or AEW that influence me, or I like watching. I really like Gunther. I really like Dragunov in NXT. Swerve Strickland. Those guys right now are the guys for me. Yeah.
Thoughts on Ben Ortman's and Crossbody Pro Wrestling and some of your favorite matches you've had in your career so far here at CBPW?
I wouldn't know how to do anything that I do without Ben and Crossbody. It's where I got my start. It's where I'm starting to really make strides and better myself. And Ben's been there helping me at training. Yeah, he's taught me everything I know. Sorry, what was the other half of the question there?
I think I forgot that as well. I guess maybe some of your influences in WWE, AEW.
The influences are Swerve Strickland and Dragunov, Walter or Gunther. Yeah.
What would you tell somebody in my audience who's never been to a Crossbody Pro Wrestling card here in Cambridge, why they should come out here?
it's personally, I think, some of the most underrated wrestling in Ontario. It's a little hidden. We're out here in a gymnasium in a church in Cambridge. It's a little pushed out of the corner, but the wrestling that goes on, you have some of the best up and coming wrestlers in the scene, giving it everything they have every single night, and they don't do it for clout, or they don't do it for any other reason but the fact that they just love wrestling and they want to get better at wrestling, and they know that repetition and coming here every Friday just betters you. And that's what I like the most. Yeah.
And finally, what's a fun fact about you, Brother Earth? And where can my audience find you on social media?
So I'll start with social media, _ Brother Earth _. I'm pretty sure it's that on all socials that I'm on. So that's Instagram, Facebook. Facebook, I think, is just Brother Earth. Instagram is _ Brother Earth _, and Twitter is _ Brother Earth _. What was sorry?
Fun fact.
Okay. Fun fact is, I've said it before. Like, when I say I am Brother Earth, there is no character there. Like, it is me. That is just it. And to me, that's, I think, a fun fact, because everybody thinks wrestling is people playing characters. I am me. Like I said, I live in my RV. I drive around, and I have a little garden in my RV, and that's what feeds me most of the time. And then I come around and wrestle. Yeah.
All right. Well, Brother Earth, I want to say thank you so much again. Pro wrestler Brother Earth from Crossbody Pro Wrestling. Continued success in your career.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys, that clip was courtesy of my YouTube channel, Chris Palme, live with CDP Sports Talk. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please subscribe, hit the like notification. And if you already have, thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel as well. And that was Brother Earth from Crossbody Pro Wrestling. Check out their next card, which is next Saturday, November 11th. I believe it's 7 o'clock bell time at 132 North Argyle Street in Cambridge. If you want tickets for that, please contact Ben Ortmans. He's on Instagram, he's on Twitter, he's on Facebook, or go to the Crossbody Pro Wrestling Facebook page and you can contact Ben Ortmans there. But Crossbody Pro Wrestling out of Cambridge, Ben Ortmans, and everybody does a great job. And I really want to say thank you to Brother Earth and Aiden Prince last week for letting me do live interviews with him as well. Also, guys, wanted to let you know, episode 15 of the Argo Bounce live audio show returns tomorrow night, Saturday, November 4th at 9 p.m. with Chris and my co-host Nick Small. We're going to talk about the East and West semifinal results, the Argonauts 16-2 regular season, and preview the Eastern final at BMO Field next Saturday, and maybe a little bit about the Western final as well. So I hope you guys, if you're a CFL fan, football fan, can tune into the Argo Bounce live audio show on all these platforms and WQEE 99.1 FM at 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, 6 on the West Coast, and we'll talk Toronto Argonauts and, of course, the CFL postseason as well. I'm really looking forward to this show with Nick Small, who does a great job, by the way. Some National Lacrosse League news today. The Buffalo Bandits today, the world champions, announced the team has signed forward and MVP Dane Smith from Kitchener, Ontario, to a 5-year deal pending league approval. Smith has been with the Bandits, I believe, since 2011. And he led the Bandits to their 5th National Lacrosse League championship last year, beating Colorado Mammoth in 3 games to win their 5th title in league history. 92, 93, 96, 08, and 23. And I recently just had John Gerkler, the longtime voice of the Buffalo Bandits, on my podcast radio show a few days ago. So check out my interview with John Gerkler, great guy, great broadcaster. And I'm also working on having Pat Gregor from Quebec, Canada, and color analyst with the Halifax Thunderbirds and analyst with the TSN National Lacrosse League Game of the Week coming on my show as well very soon. So National Lacrosse League season starts up in December, and the Buffalo Bandits are going to try to go for their 6th championship and try to go back to back as well. But again, Dane Smith from Kitchener, Ontario, just signed a 5-year deal with the Bandits. And if you've never been to a lacrosse game, check out the Toronto Rock at the First Ontario Center in Hamilton, or make the trip across the border to Buffalo to the KeyBank Center and to Bandit Land. They do a great job there. And you know what? Right now, my 2 favorite sports leagues have to be the National Lacrosse League and the Canadian Football League, because the competition is great and it feels like a family environment there. And being in media, they've been great with my media work with both the National Lacrosse League Bandits and the Toronto Argonauts as well. By the way, you can check out the Bandits website at bandits.com. And they do have a fan appreciation day going on next Saturday from 10 to 12 p.m. at the KeyBank Center, where people can meet the players and get some autographs as well. And John Tavares will be talking to some of the fans as well. And Toronto Argonauts again next Saturday, 3 p.m. If you want to come down to BMO Field before the tickets are sold out, check out argonauts.ca and get your ticket now. It's going to be a great Eastern final, a great Western final, and I hope everyone can enjoy the 2 games tomorrow. Again at 3 o'clock, Hamilton, Montreal, 6 p.m. BC at Calgary as well. The next live with CDP Sports Talk, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet here in Guelph, to be announced on my social media pages next week. I am working on some more guests and some more shows, and I'm just going to try to confirm a date and time with Pat Gregor from the National Lacrosse League in Quebec, Canada, and as well as Aaron Sanders, the longtime voice of the National Basketball League of Canada's Windsor Express, who are now involved in the new league called the Basketball Super League, which is going to be starting up at the end of December as well. So I will let you guys know when Aaron and Pat are back on my show, and they're 2 of my guests that have been on the most as well. Finally, guys, like I do for my shows all the time, live with CDP Sports Talk, again, is a weekly sports and entertainment talk show hosted by yours truly, Chris Palme, is now on weeknights from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, the home of Southern sports and talk, the heartbeat of Atlanta. Our radio station's website is wqeefm.radio12345.com. Finally, I want to give a special shout out to Sulaki Flame Greek restaurant here in Guelph at 206 Speedville Avenue West, Unit 4 here in Guelph, Ontario, 519-265-4200. It's a small local business, great food, great customer service, and one of their servers, Krista, does a great job there all the time. So again, it's Sulakia, it's Sulakia Flame Restaurant, Greek food net at 206 Speedville Avenue West, Unit 4 in Guelph, and you can call them at 519-265-4200. And one of my favorite foods there is the veggie wrap with hummus and their homemade French fries as well. And they have a great pasta selection there as well. And they do have a great dessert selection. So check out Sulakia Flame again here in Guelph on Speedville Avenue. And thank you to Crystal, who's been my server all the times I've been there as well. So great food, and always support your small local businesses as well. Live with CDP Sports Talk is always live streamed on these platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter /X, we call it now, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And I want to say thank you to everybody for watching my show today with Matthew Scianitti from TSN here on live streams. Also, you can check out my website at beacons.ai/Christy Palme. All my social media sites and my digital content and my previous radio and podcast shows are on beacons.ai/Christy Palme. Live with CDP Sports Talk, again, is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210, or email them at info@barrycullen.com. And just a reminder, winter is not far away. It's time to get yourself a set of 4 winter tires at Barry Cullen Chevrolet, and you can get up to rebates up to $120, depending on the manufacturer as well. More details at barrycullen.com as well. And also, you can get yourself a 2023 Silverado 1500 pickup truck, 0.99% financing for up to 60 months. And if you're an eligible Costco member, you can receive a $750 bonus on select trucks at Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Again, check out barrycullen.com or drop by at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall as well. You can also, if you'd like to, everybody, you can follow me on TikTok at Live with CDP. Yes, I am a TikTok content creator at the age of 51. So again, check out my TikTok page at Live with CDP. I post a lot of player, coaches interviews, and my media work there as well. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports Talk. If you're into webinars or podcasting such as yours truly, check out StreamYard.com as well. Live with CDP Sports Talk is also looking for more local businesses to sponsor Live with CDP Sports Talk. If you're interested in coming aboard my show as a sponsor, please give me a call at 519-820-7188, or you can email me at Pomay, Pomay 19 at gmail.com, as I'm always looking for more sponsors for Live with CDP Sports Talk as well. Live with CDP Sports Talk, the audio version is available on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, and Tuned In. And again, weeknights at 8 p.m. on WQEE 99.1 FM. And speaking of that, Live with CDP Sports Talk is on WQEE 99.1 FM tonight at 8 p.m. Check it out on the website again, WQEEFM.12345.com as well. I think I did put that up there earlier as well. We have some NHL action on tonight: Philadelphia and Buffalo, New Jersey and St. Louis. And for college football, being a Michigan Wolverine fan, go blue. They're taking on the 2-6 Purdue Boilermakers this Saturday night at 7:30 at the Big House in Ann Arbor. Michigan is currently third. Michigan is currently ranked third in the country in the standings at 8-0, and they're looking to go 9-0 again as well. And I'm looking forward to that game as well. And that's about it, guys. I want to say thank you again to Matthew Scianitti for coming on my show for a second time and talking some Canadian Football League playoffs and previewing the games. And as for my predictions, I'm going to make some predictions on the most outstanding player. I am going to go with Brady Oliveira over Chad Kelly, who I think should be an MOP as well. Both are great selections. The rookie of the year, Kay Gray against Quatez Stiggers. I'm going to go with Stiggers from the Toronto Argonauts. Coach of the year, how do you go wrong with this? Mike O'Shea of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers against Ryan Dinwiddie. But I'm going to go with Ryan Dinwiddie because I don't think anybody outside of the Toronto Argonauts thought they were going to go 16-2 this year. But either way, I think either one of them could be Coach of the Year easily. And special teams player award that I'm interested in, Sean White against Javon Leake. I'm going to go with Javon Leake because he had four touchdowns, and he broke Pinball Clements' record as well for punt returns in a season. And I think it's been a great year for the Toronto Argonauts. And again, some CFL news today. Kerry Jones, the former CFL quarterback, today was let go as the Ottawa's offensive coordinator as well. And there's going to be some more changes in Ottawa as well. But that's about it. I think that's about it. But I'm looking forward to some great CFL football. You got CFL going on tomorrow. You got the NFL going on Sunday and Monday, obviously. And you now have the NBA and the NHL going on. And I want to say this too before I wrap this up. Congratulations to the Texas Rangers for winning their first World Series championship in franchise history. They started out in 1961 as the Washington Senators. They moved to Texas, or Arlington, Texas, / near Dallas in 1972. And after losing 2 World Series, I think in 2010 and 2011 back to back under Ron Washington, they brought in Bruce Bochy, and Bruce Bochy is now a 4-time World Series champion manager, and he's also going to be in the Hall of Fame very soon. So Texas, congratulations to them on winning their championship, and also congratulations to the Arizona Diamondbacks and Torey Lovullo for getting to the World Series for the 2nd time in franchise history. Arizona won it in 2001 against the Yankees in 7 games, and unfortunately they came up short against the very good Texas team in 5 games as well. And Gabriel Moreno and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. from the Blue Jays did a great job with Arizona as well. And Marcus Semien had some big hits for the Texas Rangers in this World Series as well. But that's it for Major League Baseball until February, when spring training starts up again and everybody's got a chance to win a championship at 0-0. But anyways, guys, I want to wrap this show up again. Check out Slovakia Flame Restaurant again here in Guelph, 519-265-4200. And I also want to give another shout out to my friend Wayne McFarlane from the Digital Briefing magazine. And you can check out his monthly magazine online at thedigitalbriefingmagazine.com as well. Wayne is one of my supporters from LinkedIn as well, and I wanted to give him a shout out as well. And that's about it. I hope everybody has a great night, great weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow night for episode 15 of the Argo Bounce Live audio show with Nick Small and myself at 9 p.m. tomorrow night, a special edition. And I will definitely let you guys know next week's schedule for Live with CDP Sports Talk, which just completed its 6th season. So the next time I come on Live with CDP Sports Talk, this will be season 7, episode 1, and it's unbelievable. And I want to say thank you again to everyone watching this live streamed on my audio platforms and on WQEE 99.1 FM, and to Barry Collins Chevrolet here in Guelph for sponsoring Live with CDP Sports Talk. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 9 o'clock for the Argo Bounce live audio show.